Well, good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. Today is build day 23. Yes, build day 23 on the construction of the pool project in the backyard of Villa Feliz. The guys are here bright and early this morning, getting started. I think today's project, a lot of focus on the bridge and other things too. Let's go ahead and get today started. Now, without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Before we get started, I just want to make a mention of all this wind that we've had. We had a lot of wind here last night, and we're still, today is Saturday morning, Sunday night, so we're still a day and a half away from when this big typhoon comes through here. The typhoon is on its way. I'm going to post a little picture of the tracking of it that I took this morning while we were having breakfast. Now, I didn't even realize it, but there is yet another typhoon on the tail of this typhoon, which is on the tail of the last one that just went through and did all the damage here in the backyard. The one that's coming now is a much bigger and much stronger one than the one that caused the damage. So I'm just a little concerned about this next one. And then the one after that one, I don't know. It's too far out. It's still at least a week. I think it's supposed to arrive here maybe around November 6th or November 7th. Oh, keep an eye on that as well. Let's go over to the swimming pool area. Let's take a look and see what these guys are doing this morning. Alright, so you can see they removed the formwork on the footer support on the other side. And I imagine they're going to do the same over here to get this space filled with concrete. And then the next step after that is actually to start building the actual span. Well, not start building, getting it prepared for formwork so that they can pour concrete in there. They've already made all the rebar. They'll tie all of the stirrups around the rebar for the support, and then they'll build I don't know what they're going to use. I would normally use lumber, but they've been using this aluminum stuff here, so I don't know what they're going to use. It'll be interesting to see that today. We'll set up a time-lapse camera here today, hopefully, if my battery is charged, and then continue watching what they are doing step by step. Is a little over halfway through lunchtime, and what we've been doing is focusing on the weather. The weather is not looking good. The weather is showing that the correction or the change of course of direction is not favorable to us here. It's actually gone back down to going right through the center of our region right here. And the prediction from the Philippine weather agencies is that this is going to be something very similar to a super typhoon going through. As a matter of fact, they're making a comparison, saying that this is the second biggest ever typhoon to go through this region, next to Typhoon Yolanda, which you remember Yolanda did devastating effects through this area of the Philippines. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be discussing it with our contractor right here, or the foreman, and I think instead of doing some of the work, because I'm not sure that he's really aware at the major impact this could potentially have here, if they can't get the bridge completed and poured today, to take all the building materials and put them inside the basement, because tomorrow is definitely going to be a washout on measures that we probably can't even calculate or fathom right now. So I will speak with him, see what his plan of attack is, and then we'll work from there. But let's go ahead and look and see from the end of the time lapse. You can see the amount of work that they did on the bridge rebar construction. So it's kind of covered up a little bit with some of this. Is going to be the formwork that's going to form the bottom and the sides of the of the bridge so that they can pour the concrete, and then they will use cocoa lumber to shore up all the bottom of the formwork. But they have pretty much everything in place. They got the rest of this poured for the footer support over here. And if they could get this done today and get it poured today, it would be cured enough by tomorrow, even with a typhoon coming through here, that it would be okay. But if they can't get that done, they're definitely not going to be able to pour tomorrow. And then all of this, even connected to that, is going to act like a parachute. And we're probably going to have loss of material here. And also, it could cause damage to the windows of the house. So I'll talk with the foreman here and see what direction that we're going to go. So now watching the construction of the supports that are going up underneath there, it reminds me of the 1800s when they used to build the bridges for the railway system, and the bridges used to be made out of wood, just like this right here. That's what kind of reminds me of. Now, have you ever seen anybody use a level in the Philippines? These guys do.
When you hold the cocoa lumber, don't break.
Alright, well I thought this was important enough to take note of, and it has to do with the flexibility of using coconut lumber they call it over here. I wanted to see how they're using it because it's actually flexible. You see what they're doing? They're bending it. They cut slices in the bottom inside here to give it a little bit more bendability to make the form of the shape of the arch of the bridge. And they'll do that on both sides, and then they'll put the plywood that you see over here underneath the bottom, so it'll be a really nice, clean, round arch. That's pretty neat, huh? Alright, well these guys are still working on the formwork. I don't think they're going to get finished with the formwork by the end of the day today. But that's okay. As long as the formwork is still here when they come back to work the next day, whenever the next day will be. I'm not sure about tomorrow, on Sunday when the typhoon is here, but these guys are always saying things like, well, nothing stops them. Rain doesn't stop them, typhoons don't stop them. Maybe a super typhoon might stop them. I don't know. So we will just continue on from where they are. I think they still have a bit of work to do with the formwork before they can actually complete the pouring of the concrete for the bridge. And it must be a dry day. You can't pour that type of concrete where you have slopes when you have tons of water coming down. I've seen that on other projects around here, and it makes a mess and it reduces the integrity of the concrete build. So we will continue with that whenever it happens. Now, going back to the typhoon, I keep looking at the Weather Channel, and the Weather Channel keeps saying several things. That we're talking about anything from Super Typhoon to tropical cyclone, to signal 3 to signal 4 to signal 2. There's so many things that are out there right now. So this is the way it's going to work. If we have electricity and if there's something to report about around here, we will continue. The vlogging will continue and we'll do the updates with what's going on here. And even if it's not, even if there's no construction and it's a weather type of condition, for those of you who have family and friends in this part of the world, in this part of the region, we'll continue to report on that so you have a realistic idea of what is happening in the community. I've got the battery charged up for the drone, and when the storm goes through and it gives us the opportunity to be able to fly, I will try to do an overview so we'll see what the community, whether it's really wet, whether it's trees kind of damaged, whether it's nothing. And I hope it's nothing. I hope it just kind of goes through, because you never know around here. And that's one of the reasons why our Filipino friends in the community, they're like, oh, we have a typhoon coming through. It's like, it's normal. It's a normal thing. So that's the way it's going to be. Well, I'm going to close from right here, right now. Today, this is Saturday. This is about 5 o'clock, really close to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to close here. Sunday, the typhoon comes through, and hopefully we'll continue from there. Anyway, for those that are giving us support, we thank you. And again, pray for those who are probably going to be more in the path of this, but I don't think you can be more in the path of it than we are going to be if you look at the current weather conditions. So anyway, until tomorrow or the next day, whenever we are able to be back on the air, we will send our updates. So if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. Please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little MPID heart in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed and notified the next time I upload a new video. So until such time, from right here in windy Philippines, you have a wonderful and blessed day. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more just like these, just click on one of the helpful links over to your right and you might be able to pick up on some good information on DIY projects, how to, or if you are interested in moving to the Philippines and building, you'll find answers there as well.